In this training tutorial, we are going to create a part in context. We are going to use the assembly that we created in an earlier tutorial. When you open up a document, you can always use the tab manager to find the appropriate assembly or part studio. We are going to start by selecting this button, which is Create Part Studio in Context. If you have trouble finding a tool, always remember that you can search for it. There's Create Part Studio. You'll need to select the origin and the green check mark. This will create a new part studio, but we can also use the assembly, and it's faded because it's just so that we can use it for context. If you select the top of that piece, we can create a sketch and press N to normalize. Now that piece is purple because that is the context, that's where this part is getting made from. We're going to select these circles, but to select them, you're going to want to right click and you're going to want to select Other and select the edge of context. So right click, select Other, edge of context. So we're going to do that for those three circles. And we should be able to just select these two circles. Once we have those circles, we're going to select the Use command. And that will select so that we now have circles that match those positions. We will also need these vertical lines. So again, right-click, select Other, and find the edge. Right-click, select Other. There's the edge. And these lines we should have no problem selecting. And again, right-click, select Other, and edge. And the Use. If it is easier, you can always do one line at a time so that you don't accidentally deselect. So we have our lines now. We are going to add a line, and we're going to hold the mouse over this line so it is coincident. We're going to drag it over, make sure that it is horizontal and coincident to that line. Hit Escape on your keyboard to not set the distance. The dimension tool we can use. We can press the center of that circle, that line, and we want this distance to be 0.5 inches. And we're going to add a line over here. Again, make sure it is coincident. Make sure it is vertical and locked in. Turn off the line tool and the dimension tool to force that to be 1/2 inch. Now we're going to use the trim tool, and we're going to trim these extra lines that we no longer need. And this inner line right there. So we should have an enclosed shape, which is an L. And if we click our green check mark, we now have our sketch. Make sure to name your sketch. And now we'll extrude. So we'll select our sketch to extrude. It's going to be a new shape. It is going to be 1/8 of an inch thick. Right click, make sure that it's going in the upwards direction, and the green check mark. We are going to now use the fillet tool, and the radius will set to 0.25 inches, and we're going to select each of the edges on this side, so that when we're cutting it, we can cut these round corners because a rounded corner will give you additional strength. There's no stress point where the straight edges meet. Green check mark. Right-click the part, set the properties. For part number, and save. You should be able to now click Insert and go to Assembly. And the L gusset, we can click the green check mark. Remember, we didn't set the material. That is something that we do need to set. So there's our L gusset. What we can do is we can select the L gusset and that piece of tubing and simply group them together, which serves the same purpose of fastening, but it allows us to do it faster so that it's in position. Take a moment to right-click, edit in context, and in here, just go back in, make sure that you assign the material. The material is going to be aluminum. You get bonus marks if you know which alloy it is. So there's different numbers. Look it up in our resource books. Just figure out when we're using sheet metal what type of aluminum we use. And that is our part. Again, insert a comment, and you're going to share it with Ian McTavish. You're going to assign, and this is tutorial 3. Create an L gusset. Thank you very much.